Star Trek episodes selected by you. Also today we'll be giving away 25 pairs of tickets to a special screening of Paramount's latest Star Trek V, The Final Frontier. All winners will be notified by mail. In fact, let's announce our first two winners right now. Lewis Epps of Lansdale and Mary Whipple of Philadelphia. Congratulations. Now let's take a look at today's lineup, the 12 Star Trek episodes you, the voters, voted as your favorites. The Trekathon begins now with a piece of the action. This episode looks more like a gangster comedy than Star Trek. Take a look. Lorraine Hensick of Philadelphia, you just won 2 tickets to see Star Trek V. Congratulations. Now let's return to a piece of the action. A piece of the action is the only time in Star Trek where any Enterprise crew member uses a surface vehicle for transportation. And some trivia for you. Another television sitcom duo made this street famous. Yes, indeed. Can you guess? Shamil Shlamazel, Laverne and Shirley on the same line a decade later. And another sitcom star plays a key role in this episode. Remember Mel's Diner, Alice? Vic Tayback is JoJo Krakow. Back to a piece of the action in a moment. Another winner of 2 tickets to see Star Trek V at a special screening, Carter Nash of Philadelphia. Now let's return to the Doomsday Machine. If the auxiliary control room of the Constellation and Doomsday Machine looks familiar, it's because it's the Enterprise briefing room redressed. This episode needed many high-ticket opticals that had no budget for new sets. A couple of other glaring inconsistencies. Kirk's V-neck on his tunic had no black trim, and alas, Scotty's brogue takes a hike for one line of dialogue. 30 seconds later, poof, watch for it. Speaking of disappearing, don't go anywhere, because the Doomsday Machine will be right back. Who's next to get 2 tickets to a special screening of Star Trek? Ronald Blackshear of Philadelphia. Now, back to The Enemy Within. We hope you're enjoying The Enemy Within, penned by sci-fi legend Richard Matheson. This Jekyll and Hyde show gave birth to 2 Trek trademarks. The Vulcan nerve pinch was a substitute for a suggested phaser slug against bad Kirk, out of character actually for Spock. And Spock's message about the expired space spaniel gave Dr. McCoy his classic line instead, "He's dead, Jim." Watch for the vanishing insignia on Kirk's uniform and the side-switching scratches on his face when The Enemy Within returns. Liz Gerhardt of Chalfont, Pennsylvania, you're going to get 2 tickets to see the new Star Trek V at a special screening. Now let's return for more of Spock's brain. How are you enjoying the first of our Spock Block shows? Well, it's time to announce yet another lucky winner of 2 tickets to the new Star Trek V, The Final Frontier sneak preview. And as she identified herself in her letter, Lieutenant Commander Julie Randazzo of Reading, Pennsylvania is the first female Andorian in Starfleet, but also dresses as a Vulcan science officer. And Julie, what do you think of this wonderful outfit? Pretty high budget, huh? But the hair is still in regulation. Well, thank you for your letter, Julie, and the picture. And stay tuned. Spock's brain returns in just a moment. Time is the first and only episode set on Vulcan. This came out of the series fans' curiosity about the evolution of the Spock character. William Thies created costumes making use of Romulan helmets from Balance of Terror, plus new outfits that were never to be reused. But what this episode has is a classic Star Trek blooper of all time. Watch when Spock is deep in the Plateau. When Kirk talks to T'Pau, Spock never realized the cameras were rolling. Look for him by the tree. Amok Time returns in a moment. Joshua Powell of Wilmington, Delaware, you're a winner of 2 tickets to see the new Star Trek V at a special screening. Now let's return to Amok Time. Jen Krebs of Blackwood, New Jersey, you're a winner of 2 tickets to the new Star Trek V. Now let's return for more of All Our Yesterdays. What turns a Vulcan into an emotional, woman-hungry, meat-eating primitive? Besides the Atavachron, which was made of parts of Gary Seven's computer from Assignment Earth, perhaps Marriott Hartley in skins. Speaking of the costume, the original revealed her navel, and the network said no. So years later, when Gene Roddenberry made a TV pilot film called Genesis 2, he gave Hartley not 1 navel, but 2, and she got to show them both. Stay tuned for more of All Our Yesterdays, returning in a moment. It's tough for mechanical devices in Hollywood. 1 minute you star in your own episode of Trek, then poof, they scrap you for parts in another. I refer, of course, to the Romulan cloaking device made of Nomad from the Changeling, attached to Sargon's sphere from Return to Tomorrow. And did you also know that the Vulcan death grip was originally meant for the neck, not the face, even though it's fake? The things you learn hosting Trekathons. More of the Enterprise incident coming up in a moment. Our next winner of 2 tickets to see the new Star Trek V is Roberta Murphy of Pennsville, New Jersey. Now let's get back to more of the Enterprise incident. Francis Valionis Jr. of Springfield, Pennsylvania, you're a winner of 2 tickets to see the new Star Trek V. And now let's reflect on more of Mirror Mirror. Mirror, mirror, Spock looks awful in that beard. Now, why did I say that? Must be that mirror me. Actually, the Vulcan looks rather distinguished in the beard. Interestingly, science fiction writer Jerome Bixby had McCoy wearing the beard in his original outline. Spock had a much meaner nature. And the parallel Kirk had a wife. Interesting. In its final form, Mirror Mirror was nominated for science fiction's Hugo Award, and we'll get back to it in a moment. Alan Sandler of Royersford, Pennsylvania, you've won 2 tickets to see the new Star Trek V. Now let's return for more fun in The Trouble with Tribbles. The Trouble with Tribbles was a top vote getter in our viewer poll. Director Joe Pebney lent his comedic expertise to this episode with a career that started in vaudeville, led to directing credits on The Munsters, and a highly acclaimed City on the Edge of Forever, our final trek of the marathon. Veteran character actors drop in on Tribbles: William Shallard, Patty Duke's dad, and William Campbell, a.k.a. Trelane from The Squire of Gothos. More Trouble with Tribbles, one of my favorite episodes, in a moment. Carol Dobb of Ambler, Pennsylvania, you've won 2 tickets to see the new Star Trek V, but now let's return for more of The Menagerie, Part 1. Star Trek was an expensive series to produce, though the second pilot for the show, Where No Man Has Gone Before, featured many discrepancies from the series format and didn't have McCoy or Janice Rand. There was no doubt it would still be included in the network run. The first pilot, The Cage, was a different story. At first, there seemed to be no way to make use of it on air, but Gene Roddenberry came up with an inventive solution, part of which you're watching, to be followed by Part 2. More of The Menagerie in a moment. Who's next to win 2 tickets to the new Star Trek V? It's Annette DeFalco of Upper Darby. Now stay tuned as we return to The Menagerie, Part 2. We now return to the city on the edge of forever. The City on the Edge of Forever has long been thought to be one of the best of the Star Treks. It was written by sci-fi phenomenon Harlan Ellison, who struck a deal with Gene Roddenberry to do all his own rewrites to protect his story. When the network forced Roddenberry to cut costs, it forced Ellison to do many rewrites, all while locked in William Thesis' spare costume closet for 4 days and nights. Later, Roddenberry made more changes, and both versions won major awards. More of The City on the Edge of Forever coming up in a moment. Thanks for watching the Trekathon. Remember, you can watch Star Trek twice every weekend, Saturdays at 3 and Sundays at noon, only on TV29. Happy Memorial Day, everybody. Thanks for your votes. And for now, I'm Commander Pierre Robert, beaming back to my regular post at 93.3 WMMR. Robert out, and remember, live long and prosper.